Yeah, so I'm talking from Italy, and in the name also of this group and project, which is called the Planetary System. Okay, so it's a great joy to be here together to saturate space with our united work and commitment to lift humanity's load in service to the hierarchical plan. Yes, I'm transmitting from a town in North Italy, in Lombardy, as we know, one of the most damaged and struck by the pandemic phenomenon, the point where it started in the West. And so before going to my nation, in extreme synthesis, we could say that this great karmic opportunity we are all facing and its dharmic solutions are definitely accelerating our entrance into the age of Aquarius, which from our point of view, it will be astrologically sealed by a very important solar rhythm, by the conjunction between Jupiter's solar love and wisdom, and Saturn, solar light and creative intelligence in Aquarius, occurring in this incredible year 2020 for the first time since 1404. For the next 180 years, we will have their conjunctions in Aries signs, and for 4 times in Aquarius before 2200. So many times this great conjunction between heart and mind, love and light in the outer and inner heavens has been put in evidence. Yet the more we approach it, and it will be on November heliocentrically, the second, and on December at the winter solstice or at the December solstice geocentrically, the more we can feel its potentiality and potency, its significance in terms of a unique and decisive turning point for the planet, an Aquarian renaissance. Prepared, as we know, by the deflagrating conjunction between Pluto and Saturn, first and third ray in January 2020, around the Capricorn full moon. This is the heliocentric march of the planets. So this conjunction Saturn-Pluto, as other astrologers before have pointed out, it's really a destructive and reforming huge impulse whose effect geocentrically exploded in the Western world with the entrance and transit also of Mars in Capricorn, geocentrically, because heliocentrically it will be now. Around, and geocentrically it was around mid-February. And now expanding globally with Mars in Aquarius. Considering that Mars will stay for many months in Aries, square to the deep planets in Capricorn till January 2021, when it will join Uranus in Taurus, square then to Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, well, we could expect a real release from February 2021 from this coronavirus, but maybe from also the economical issues and so on. But hopefully we hope before. So we can really assert with a united breath and unified rhythm that this historical moment of planetary and human life requires at the dawn of the Aquarian age, and given the gravity of the internal and external pressure of world events, the urgent conscious reorganization of our common life on this wonderful planet, on pain of deranging with a knock-on effect our well-being or environmental, health, economic, mental, and spiritual ecology. So nations, the very living organs of the collective unity, which is humanity as a planetary center and organism, are ever more driven by the evolutionary law, despite the apparent prevailing separativeness, to relate to one another through increasingly comprehensive systems towards organic globality. In formal terms of social aggregation, humanity has in fact seen its progressive organization from tribes to cities or regions, then nations and international relationships. That is, from isolated and local units to a potentially single interactive community. At present, mankind still needs the law of pain to recognize and realize it, as we see throughout the planet. But we move slowly and yet at an accelerated pace towards the idea of right human relationships, which embodies the primary idea of the age of Aquarius, brotherhood. The isolated units of the one humanity, the nations, must today rise to their planetary or spiritual function to ensure that the global organism is safe and sound, at the service of evolution. And the initiative of the Esoteric United Nations, for example, responds to this urgent need and direction of planetary service. Nations are presented by the esoteric teaching as a temporary form of manifestation of human races and sub-races, those septenary centers of the fourth human hierarchy. So here from Destiny of the Nations, over the lapse of centuries, nations are reborn several times or come into incarnation in a new form, which we may call a period, if unimportant, or a civilization if significant and dramatic enough. And also there is a magnetic interplay between countries, territories, and the nations which occupy them. So nations are actual, living, magnetic, and conscious collective units, equipped with a more or less manifested soul or higher nature, a more or less integrated personality, and a body of territorial expression. As we know from the Destiny of the Nations, for some nations a motto is also indicated, which sets their mission with a view to global evolution. Well, as many of us will know, for Italy, a tiny nation yet so beautiful and so resounding in the last 2 millennia, and in the past months, also sadly famous all over the world, the motto is I carve the paths. Here is an interpretation of it by a great Italian disciple, Enzio Savoini. According to the Tibetan Master, the motto of the Italian nation is I carve the paths. They are paths, not main roads, which other nations at different times have the task of building and paving. To trace a path, just a single man who has sense, courage, and intuition is enough. That motto, therefore, doesn't express the work of an integrated community, but the intelligent and far-sighted work of a plurality of individuals. The Italian nation is a people made of many individualities. It may sound strange, but it is true. Perhaps it is the only one in the world. Italians who apparently understand everything, the case defines us as highly intelligent Italian people, do not understand each other and are misunderstood by other people. This unusual psychic situation places them both at the forefront and at the rear. They are an admirable people, yet not aware of their own strength and moral richness, which is the true treasure of any nation, moral richness. And in this sense, the test of the coronavirus is greatly helping this soul awareness. The above mentioned motto, therefore, always Enzio, which is writing, The above-mentioned motto, therefore, applies to any Italian, but not to the Italians as a whole. It describes not only Italy's service and function, but also its political history. Many innovations and discoveries are due to the Italian genius, often expressed by a single person, who didn't take advantage of it for himself or for his nation, which lives in him, though not in his thoughts. Actually, an Italian doesn't care much about the political unity of his country, because he, she, me, is capable of being Italian, of adapting to any environment, to the point of considering it as his, her own. In this respect, Italians are similar to the Jewish people, but without the cohesion that keeps these united, even if dispersed all over the world. So we could say that the Italian disciple carves paths not in view of national unity, but towards the planetary individuality based on the ideal and metrics of an international harmonic system, which is, by the way, the topic of the next talk in the main conference and workshop on Friday the 8th. Okay. So Italy carves the paths, indicates words. This will be true eventually in the spiritual as well as in the literal sense. Rome was the great road builder and road maker of Europe in the far distant past. Upon the spiritual side, the whole field of religion will be re-inspired and reoriented from Rome, because the Master Jesus will again take hold of the Christian Church in an effort to re-spiritualize it and to reorganize it, again from the Destiny of the Nations, page 59. And our current Pope has the name of our national patron, Saint Francis, indicated as a reincarnation of the sixth ray, Master Jesus. At the soul level, Italy is governed by the sixth ray, and its sign is Leo, fifth and first rays, whereas its personality is governed by the fourth ray and the sign of Sagittarius, fourth, fifth, sixth ray. Rays and signs which bestow in the deep a royal heart, Leo, ardor or spiritual idealism, and sense of communion, 6, Neptune. And outwardly, beauty and artistic expression, refined taste, but also quick and irresponsible cunning and individualistic conflict, all mercurial for ray qualities and squalities. So the sixth ray of idealism is potent in Russia, in the United States, Italy, and Spain. It is the fanatical adherence to an ideal which is responsible for the potent changes in these four countries. In Germany and Italy, the harmonizing of the fourth ray, also present in India, Austria, and Brazil, working through conflict, is also to be seen. Hence, we have in all these countries a process of breaking down and of destruction of old forms prior to an adequate responsiveness to the influence of the incoming ray, the fourth ray. It should be remembered that as with individuals, so with nations, the reaction to an increasing influence of the soul ray is ever accompanied by a breaking down period. This demonstration of destruction is, however, only temporary and preparatory. And here we go. So let's see what other precious indication Master Decay gives us about Italy. Okay, Leo, our soul ruler, with its ruler, the sun, Sagittarius, personal ruler of the nation, with its rulers, Jupiter, the Earth, and Mars. Taurus, with its rulers, Venus and Vulcan, soul ruler of Rome, and Leo, personality of Rome. Okay. Here, let's go. So in a chart, the personality sign corresponds to the sun sign and the soul one to its ascendant. The soul of the people is represented by those who react to the influence of the soul ray and of the sign which is affecting it, its ascendant, one might say, whilst the masses are conditioned by the personality ray and therefore by the sun sign of the specified nation. Hence, for Italy, Sun in Sagittarius and ascendant in Leo. And its monadic orientation, indicated by the sign opposite to the Sun sign, would be Gemini, the great reuniting magnet, head of the cosmic Christ, oriented to Sirius, and transmitting in this precessional cycle the second ray of love wisdom, underlying all polarities. So, Sun in Sagittarius, ascendant Leo, monadic opposite sign in Gemini. As we know, these signs and rays correspond to an occult date and setup, referring to the essential nature of the Italian people. We can nevertheless consider them in the light of the meaningful outer dates, therefore, primarily that of the unification of Italy, more related to the Italian unified territory. And the case says, we need to distinguish, quote, between the horoscope of the territory, housing the nation, and the people themselves who compose that unit which we call a nation. So, finish quote. People which can be throughout the planet. The unification of Italy occurred on March 17, 1861, the birth or current incarnation of Italy, subsequently updated by the birth of the Italian Republic in June 1946, which is the outer wheel, inner wheel and outer wheel. The cycle between the start of the national unification process, the inner wheel, and the proclamation of the Italian Republic in Rome, annually celebrated on June the 2nd, is of about 85 years, and then marked by Uranus, the initiator of first and seventh ray, he who makes all things new, that in 1861 was in Gemini at 11 degrees. Where is my pointer? Here it is. Here it is, Uranus in Gemini. And in 1946, here he is again, together with the Sun and Mercury. So there is this polarity, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, in this current incarnation. And this reading will proceed according to both the heliocentric and the geocentric perspective. The heliocentric horoscope of the Italian nation is intended as the one which concerns the reading of the highest potentials, namely those causative energies and essential qualities of Italy, as if the soul of the nation were already here in the center, at the helm of its vehicle of expression, at the center in the heart of the sun. We see that the position of the earth, here it is, occultly in Gemini, as we have seen, is here in Virgo's second sixth ray, the cosmic mother, in conjunction with the star Al-Qaid of the Great Bear, Brigu in Sanskrit, Rishi of the fifth ray according to the secret doctrine. So is a cosmic Venus. Al-Qaid Brigu, the commander of the vital power of the seven rays emanating from the Great Bear through the fire of mind of the fifth ray. The two luminaries representing the Italian nation rays, Neptune, here it is, and Mercury, are here surprisingly in opposition and powerfully in relation precisely to the Earth-Sun axis. In these esoteric tropical heliocentric readings, the direction of the soul, the ascendant or rising sign, in this case of all incarnating nations, is identified with that of the planetary soul, 0° Aries, the first sign, univocal for this multi-millennial evolutionary phase. Here Neptune, 6th ray, the god of waters, is in powerful conjunction with it, dominant at the edge of his sign Pisces, in an oppositional tension with Mercury, as we have seen, 4th ray, and the Earth on the edge of Virgo. So Italy, the cradle of the Catholic religion of 6th ray, as well as of the maternal and materialistic attachment, has the potential to be a womb for the new ideals in the service of brotherhood. Symmetrically, geocentrically, that is placing the Earth at the center, the sun sign, thus here, the sun sign, thus in opposition to the monadic sign Virgo, is Pisces 2nd and 6th ray, the descent into substance to save and redeem and return to the Father's home. Mercury and Neptune are then magically in conjunction with the Sun, the individuality person Italy, at the equinoctial limit of Pisces and at the root point of the Imum Celi, the 4th house here. So this stellium or concentration of planets in Pisces, also Venus here, in this sign exalted or at maximum power, in companionship with to the faithful asteroid Juno, is the cornerstone of the current national personality, sensitive but impressionable, predisposed to idealism and sacrifice, as well as to emotional, sympathetic, and compassionate fanaticism. Venus in Pisces in the 3rd house makes us extremely enthusiastic, romantic, Latin lovers, abounding in communication by gestures and in all expressive ways, talkative and eager for relationships and knowledge, even superficial and remote controlled by the fluid mediumship of feelings, fashions, and good looks. Sagittarius is the current rising sun sign. Here meaning the relentless pursuit of the center of centers first through the integration of the national personality, which is, by the way, ruled precisely by Sagittarius, as the tireless archer aiming at ever new lands or goals in his becoming, yet at one and only in his being. And this could be that central and very profound direction to the common good, which the shining soul in Leo of Italian nation and people can accomplish. So it can accomplish through its esoteric ruler, the sun veiling Neptune. Again, Neptune, its soul ray here as we said, in his sign, in his abode, Pisces. And from 2025, when the 4th ray of harmony through conflict is going to emerge powerfully, Italy will hopefully be able to aim at the target, to continue to carve the paths of whatever is good, beautiful, and true, as many of its geniuses have done in the past. St. Francis, Dante, Giotto, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raffaello, Lorenzo il Magnifico, Lawrence the Magnificent, Donatello, Galileo Galilei, Vivaldi, Paganini. The prison of the soul is indicated by the moon in Taurus here, signed together with Leo of its capital Rome, where Mars and Pluto are also found. an accurate portrait of that mix of obstinate attachment to acquired values and material goods, to family or tradition, to good food, sensuality, beautiful singing, to recreation and health, planets in fifth, yeah, and sixth house. However, the conjunction between Pluto here and the asteroid Pallas Athena reveals an extraordinary power and mental independence when attachments and the destructive tendency to self-criticism are destroyed. The moon is the unconscious or etheric legacy of the past, to the past. Attachment to material sensations, but the mother of form is also the casket of the most sacred treasure, hidden in the depth of matter here. Being in conjunction, the moon being in conjunction with the star algol of Perseus, the head of Medusa, it seems to point out that the Italian personality, when tamed by the liberating spirit, potentially conceals an inexhaustible reserve of primary energy, able to overcome any obstacle at any cost. Please, Italy. Let's go back to the chart. Mars is the divine incentive of Vulcan transferred into action, here even more powerful due to the co-presence of his alter ego Pluto. Among other things here, in conjunction from a sidereal point of view with the star Hamal, the head of the ram. So, acting as agents of armed destruction, as rulers of Scorpio and the 8th house, Pluto. See Mussolini and the Lega, the current political party, which is a sort of impoverished version of that, will convey the power of regeneration, that transformative and redeeming will that can carve an inspiring path for the whole planetary scene. In short, as it is clear also from other planetary positions, the Italian country is young, ungovernable for its laziness and its rebellious individualism. Yet, the abstract idealism of Italian higher thought has been, is, and will be the greatest driving force of its compassionate and visionary soul. This admirable formula could summarize the direction of our egoic lotus of sixth ray. Rulership is not in crowns nor in crowds, but is in the cosmic expanse of ideas. So a beautiful ideal vision is this. When the sign of the Italian soul, Leo, will be free to express itself at the service of the monadic sign Gemini, the royal heart center, Jupiter in Leo, of the Italian nation, under the aegis of the cardiac outlet of Geneva, will know how to launch those thundering flashes of the will to good that dispel unhealthy energy gridlocks, electrically purifying the planetary atmosphere. Is this already happening? Well, we have still something to say from the chart. Okay, Uranus, seventh ray and first ray of the synthesis here. The life force organizing, sublimating. In both charts, Helio and Geo is in Gemini, second ray, is in conjunction with the star Aldebaran, the eye of the bull, Taurus, bearer of the primal and overwhelming force of light and interpreter of the divine voice. Uranus, the occult mind, once the Italian vision is suitable, released from earthly shackles, will activate its rod of initiation towards the inexhaustible source and reserve of revelation and co-creation, according to the higher will and purpose. Uranus became conjunct Aldebaran in 1944 and will be again in 2028. And Saturn, third ray, were you here? Saturn, third ray of creative intelligence, yet vector also the first ray energies transmitted by the Great Bear through Leo to Shambhala and to the head and base centers of the initiates, is so fundamental for the Italian spiritual task, as it is reported that the Italian Matrix will host the third ray esoteric advanced school, together with Southern France for its preparatory counterpart, as they have already been the seat of ancient mysteries of this ray or quality. The creative intelligence of the highly intelligent Italian people through the brilliant French intellect conveys the planetary mission of radiating paths of light towards the world of ideas. And for us, through a 6-4 ray nation, there is no beauty without unity, without embodied idealism and the resultant symmetrical unfoldment. The fourth ray is not the ray of art, as it is often claimed, but is the energy which brings about the beauty of those living forms which embody the ideas and the ideals which are seeking immediate expression. The fourth ray is the ray which teaches the art of living in order to produce a synthesis of beauty. At the conference last year and on the TPS website in this regard, a hypothesis of systemic formulation of the ideal planetary plan has been presented, and a prototype group, now international, has been experimenting the last 40 years in order to embody and implement it. The harmonic system of nations of the next talk is another attempt to apply the hierarchical sevenfold model to the international order and organism. Okay, so now let's see briefly the next updates for the current Italian software. First of all, the progressions, that deep system of comparison between the day and the year, the two planetary breaths. In 2020, 159 years have passed since 1861, and in 2025, there will be 164, a perfect Neptunian year or cycle. In view of 2025, we have exceptional progressions on natal Saturn in Virgo. Here, natal Saturn, and here the progressions. Mars, Sun, and Jupiter on progressed IC, Imunceli, and a few years later also Mercury. In the natal 9th house, here, 9th house, of distant destinations, travels their direction and vision, kept steady to the goal. In a possible formula, we could say the light of creative intelligence, Saturn, lit by love and solar ardor, Jupiter and Mars, ignites the paths, 9th house, for the birth of planetary brotherhood, 4th house, the influence of Neptunian, the over encompassing influence of Neptune. So even from the point of view of current transits or cycles, this is indeed a fundamental time for the evolution and planetary mission of Italy. There are two fundamental factors. Uranus, the great renovator, sails until 2025 through the space waters of Taurus, as we know, since 2018, the soul ray of Rome, Taurus. The second round of birthday of the natal Uranus will be in 2027-28, as we said, bearer of fulfillment with respect to the rhythm of the general advancement and order here of the Italian people. So the first geocentric Uranian birthday, as we said, was in 1943-4, in the middle of the World War II, which saw us conceitedly rebellious and on the side of the bad guys. But what is more important, as we said, here, in 20, this is a transit on March 17, but in 2025, Neptune, here, will be, sixth ray of the Italian soul, will have completed a all round, and it will be its first birthday. Since 2011 in Pisces, it will be on its natal position in conjunction with Saturn at 0 degree in Aries in 2025, the dawn of a new day, precisely, in the date, the crucial date indicated by the teaching for the externalization of the hierarchy and of the fourth ray Mercury, that of the human kingdom destined to the triumph of enlightened thought and beauty. The third ray would find in the seeds introduced by the esoteric schools of the Italian and French spirit a direct matrix and resonance that could lead to recognize their joint mission as ritus planners and economists, Saturn, of the planetary community, Neptune, through the sixth ray of abstract idealism and the fifth ray of science and mental construction of France, of our national souls, respectively. Knowing, of course, that the field electrified and magnetized by the third ray department with the Lord of Civilization at its head is unlimited and transversal to the manifested nations, all pervading between the worlds of consciousness and form. So this conjunction of the third and sixth rays, Saturn and Neptune, at the sacred incipit of all beginnings, is truly the dawn of a new day for the global society. Will this be the right time for each nation to lay the first cornerstone on the northeast edge to found the temple of the new human order of the age of Aquarius? If one day all the spirits of the nations, inspired by their own sun at the center, by their own heaven in the heart, gather in harmony to understand their system of golden relationships, we could truly witness our planet becoming sacred, governed by an order and organization of united peoples, capable of knowingly saving and liberating our common home. Certainly, this is an idea of cosmic magnitude and necessity. Okay, this was a video, but we saw that it's not so fluent. It's a drone on Rome, and it's wonderful, but I think I'm at the end of my time. So, thank you. Oh, it wants to go. Anyway, I don't know if there is some minutes still or not, or it's finished, Michael.
Yes, we're just about there. Antonella, you have actually 4 more minutes if you would like.
Okay. If someone wants to say something, there are some Italians also here. And Mauro, thanks to Mauro, is translating into Italian. So we are happy to be here all together. And
it's a very rich presentation, Antonella, and I know many of us will want to study this because you've really expanded on the information that Master DK has given, and in a very enriching and attractive manner. So I hope we'll be able to read your English text.
Yes, it will be available. I can send to BL or whoever.
Excellent. So any brief questions or comments, because we have just a little bit of time, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's such a, I mean, you can, it's beautiful to hear someone who knows so much in depth about their country.
Yeah.
And so many new things for me, really.
Well, we decide where to be born, and so I think I'm totally in love with my country and with my planet and with my solar system, and with my galaxy, and with my infinite,
It's
which
nice
is
to
not mine.
be in love with all those great factors. This is beautiful too, what you're showing.
Yeah, it's not fluent, but you can find in internet. It's very, very beautiful because this drone enters into the sculptures and all the beauty of Rome. It's amazing. I can put the link with the text that I send.
It's been only 57 years since I've been to Rome.
Oh,
I'm sure.
please come back after the coronavirus is gone away.
I'm sure Philip has been the world traveler. He's been more recently than I.
In 2015, he was, or also 16 probably. So we can enjoy this beauty.
Very, very illuminating perspective, Antonella. And it makes me want to really study carefully what you've said.
Yeah, come back to Italy.
Listen, you probably don't know it, but I was the director of Italian opera for many, many years.
I know.
Of all things, stage directing, you know. If you wanted to express your emotions on stage, you come to me. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful. And
so
let's have our next conference in Italy, says someone.